Former Attorney General who also served as the former National Assembly Speaker and Cabinet Secretary under President William Ruto. That is none other than Justin Muturi. Stay tuned for more revelations from the man who is now in the opposition.
Now, and also on Amka Kenya Vibe Check, it's all about insurance. An Insurance Regulatory Authority Director will be explaining how insurance works in Kenya, and you can stick around for the eye-opening conversation.
Yes, mtazamaji, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. this morning on Amka Trend Talks, nitakuwa nakwambia the issue ambayo inahusiana na ndoa ya Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Yesterday on an interview, Michelle Obama alisema, "There hasn't been one moment I thought about quitting my man." This morning, we shall be telling you more about the divorce rumors from Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Lakini pia we have a story concerning Mike Sonko advice to vijana wa Gen Z, among other stories. All this from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. ndani ya show bab kubwa, that is Amka Kenya Trend Talks.
Right, and on that note, let's go back to our review of the dailies, and we continue with the People Daily. Now, on page 5, the story highlighted here is Sifuna calls for probe into stalled city projects. Now, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has urged Senate to launch investigation into stalled public projects within the city, citing concerns over financial irregularities, service delivery failures, and the potential misuse of public funds tied to incomplete development. Now, he was speaking yesterday, and he called on the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernment Relations to compile a comprehensive report detailing the current status of all halted public funded projects across the country. Now, Kuria, what's your perspective on this?
In Kenya right now, what we have is the rise of tenderpreneurs. Shady contractors, shady deals, under-the-table deals that are happening everywhere in the city, that even these deals are given to friends, families of politicians, friends of those who are in governance. So we have a big gap of accountability when it comes to this type of business deals. So contractors, how they're chosen, how they get that contract matters a lot. And then we have the issue now of the biggest issue that is eating that sector is corruption. So once a contractor is given work, trust me, before he even gets the money to start the business, it has already been plucked from people or godfathers that helped him get that contract. So by the time he's going to the ground, he's either less 40% or even less 50% of the money that actually maybe he quoted for the business. So he will start the business, but again, he will not have money to complete because of corruption. So right now we go back to the same thing. We say, put on a strategy, put on policies, put on accountability to, if somebody is given money from the county, to what end, to how much was he given from the start to the finish of the project, and where, if there's any delays, what is the delay? So we go back to accountability, and we go, what Sifuna is saying is correct, but again, the government has to be accountable to what they're doing.
Okay. In relation to that comment on the Sifuna addressing the story about stalled project in Nairobi, there is a comment from G. Omongo Otieno on Twitter says, "Much needed move by Sifuna. Nairobi residents deserve transparency and action, not just stalled promises. Looking forward to the committee's response and real progress on the ground." Because sometimes we always get ya kwamba issue imekuwa addressed, then someone to follow up inakuwa issue. So Twitter user by the name Otieno Omongo says, "We need more of transparency and action in Nairobi City."
Right.
Yeah.
Very well. Well, as we continue with this courier, there's a very interesting and rather developing story right there on page 6, and it says Kenya's scandal of unexplained rising prices at the pump. Now, IPRA claims steep surge is due to global oil prices, an explanation challenged by legislators and economists who point a finger at more taxes and opaque levies. So you're looking at two parties right here. IPRA explaining that this is due to global trends and market changes, but a case in point, an example of the Kiharu legislator coming out and saying, no, that is a lie. And he's dismissed that rationale, saying that oil prices peaked in mid-2023 and have since stabilized since then. He believes the real problem lies in punitive taxation and opaque fiscal maneuvers. So when you're looking at these two parties, who is telling the truth here?
And just to add something, sorry for cutting short, we have seen the CS Mbadi says we have no apology. We will continue in regards to the same story on fuel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is happening to the pump? When President Ruto was coming into power, there's a very clear clip of him bashing the government on fuel, asking why fuel is expensive here and cheaper in Uganda, and the same fuel is passing through Kenya. I wonder what has left him during this time that he doesn't, when he came into power, he didn't find out why Kenya's fuel is expensive. Kenya's fuel from late last year, it went down up to 171, and now it's going up. It goes back to the taxation, it goes back to the cost of doing business, and EPRA has to come clear and tell us how do they even come up with the pricing of the fuel from onset when it lands at the port of Mombasa. How do they tax it? How do they all the way to the pump? What happens so that they can give Kenyans the fuel of right now it's 180 something, and that is expensive. So they have to come clear and account to us what happens in between there and how much is the government actually getting from the fuel itself. So there has to be accountability in whoever is setting up these prices.
The CS stands that, whatever needs to happen will happen, I mean...
That's the arrogance we're saying.
That's
the arrogance. That's the arrogance we have in this country and the government because they sitaki kutumia jina mbaya lakini wanatubeba vibaya. You see, as a finance, yes, you should explain to Kenyans. These other 10 shillings, where is it coming from? Why have you added 10 shillings? Not telling us utafanya because at the end of the day, if you ask most tourists, they don't know how the fuel costing goes. So they have to come and explain to us what happens and who is in charge of these things. So the arrogance in this country is very bad, and I think that is what should be addressed more. I think people should be taking to courtesy school, especially our leaders, on how to address issues that affect Kenyans every day. Fuel affects everyone, even him himself, it affects him. Because when you talk about food production, when you talk about industrialization, when you talk about transportation, fuel is the key ingredient that we need in this country.
But the president has used the ideology of tax to solve a couple of, the economical issues. That's one of the key things in his, ideology.
But
so
now the problem is,
what
are they solving? Where are the taxes going? That's the fight now Kenyans have with him. You tax us, but we don't see the development. You tax us, but we don't see what you're telling us. So if we're being taxed in this country and the education system is working and the road infrastructure is working, then nobody will complain. You will simply tell us, this is your money. It's working from you. So we will not even fight you. But the moment you tell us you tax us this much in every sector, and then we still go to hospital and see people die because they cannot get treatment, or they cannot get medication, or they cannot. Right now, you're seeing education, and people have not been paid for help and all that. So where is the money going from?
Alafu kuna kitu ningependa rudie. Ulikuwa umesema ati viongozi nafaka na class gani?
Kata si.
Now that also makes me kuuliza swali because some few weeks ago niliuliza Remy and Alan the same question. Do you think it's high time pia viongozi wetu waende kwa class ya read the room and also anger management classes, because we have seen comments za Wakenya wengi wakiongea kwamba viongozi wa Kenya wengi wanaongeanga muda mrefu without reading the room. Is high time pia waende kwa reading the room classes?
Wote kwanza tuanze na viongozi wa serikali, mawaziri wanafaa waende shule wafundishwe kuongelesha watu na kudeal na watu. They should understand that these dockets they hold, it's not their home, it's not their businesses. You can handle your business away from government with arrogance. But when you're addressing people that you're supposed to serve in a country that you're supposed to give us, to deliver to us, you cannot talk to us like that. And there is where the anger is coming from. And this is where they are missing the point. You've seen even the internal CS. He's very arrogant. in terms of answering Kenyans, in terms of being accountable on the lives that people are losing every day. You can't talk to a mother who has lost a child and talk to them in arrogance. So they should be taken to school. I think they should be taken to school.
Okay. All right, Alan and Remy, allow me to read this comment from Senator Wanyamira, all right, that is Mongare Okongo, in regards to the response ambayo CS Mbadi, Mbadi aliweza kumjibu Honorable Nili Nyoro, MP wa Kiharu, on the whole story ya fuel. Now, this is what Senator Mongare Okongo said. CS Mbadi response to Honorable Nili Nyoro, risks of denial and diversion, rising oil prices with no geopolitical or economic logic point, only to curtail greed and official complicity. Mbadi should quit the political grandstanding. He is no longer an MP. He promised transparency and accountability, not partisan runs. Kenyans need a Treasury CS, not a loudspeaker for failed policies. Silence and service will better suit his new office than empty chest thumping. That's a comment from Senator Mongare Okongo in response to CS Mbadi response to Honorable Nili Nyoro MP Kiharu on the whole story of Mafuta.
Okay, because actually when you look at this, Kuria, you see Nyoro's argument is that the government secretly introduced 7 shilling per litre a year last levy, when at a time when the global prices were actually declining, and he said they securitized this revenue stream to borrow 175 billion without parliamentary approval. So when you're looking at this situation, it just paints a picture that what we're dealing with right here is basically revenue desperation. Is this not what we're looking at? Because when you're seeing a government secretly introducing some new extra shilling per litre without parliamentary approval, it basically paints revenue desperation. Is it that what you're looking at?
Yeah, that we'll start with where the problem is. We don't have a parliament right now in Kenya. The parliament is for the highest bidder. So you'll find when the government is passing bills without parliament, it's impossible. You can't even explain it to someone that the government went ahead and passed a bill and the parliament was not involved. You wonder, where was the parliament? Who's in charge? Why is the parliament quiet? So we go back to asking the government to, or the parliamentarians, who are you working for? That's the question, because it is our members who chose to represent us and bring to light to us to these things that should come to us and tell us, or pass bills that help Kenyans. But whatever we're having right now, it's the parliament has failed. So I can't even explain how and why a bill was passed or something was introduced to become a law and it didn't pass through parliament.
So some analysts are saying that parliament is under capture.
It's not even under capture. It's just in pockets.
Right.
It's a tag. It goes back to Kenya, and I'll tell guys, be careful with the people you vote for. It goes back to there, because right now, we've seen from when President Ruto became the president, we've seen parliament coming together to get opposition MPs and those who support government, pass bills just because they were told to, or we get, sometimes you'll hear one or two, just wajui kuiba kwa umenyamaza. You'll hear some of them say, no, we are paid, somebody was paid 2 billion, so this passed, like the Finance Act. Even MPs came together and said, there are some of them who didn't even read the bill itself before passing it. But because there was something being passed under the table, they passed it. That's the problem we have right now in Kenya, that our parliament is, I would say, it's a failed institution.
All right. Mzamaji, this morning, allow me to plug you with the stories that you can read this morning, because tunaelekea weekendi, Alan and Remy, and allow me to shift our gears to page 22 of Lifestyle of People Daily. Remember, you can get this copy of People Daily and down in Google Play Store and App Store, and then you can be reading all the stories. Now, this story goes to my fellow bachelors and my fellow people who lives in single rooms and one room, all right, one bedroom, on how you can make your room ikae kubwa. Just ni ndogo, lakini kuna some things you can do for your small room to become bigger. Now, page 22 of People Daily wanasema there are some things you can do for any bed sitter. You can turn it into a beautiful, breathable home. Listen one more time. There's something you can do to make your bed sitter into a beautiful and breathable home. Page 22. Some of the things, work on your lightening, as you can see. Sorry, utakia wawani na few. Lightening, that's one of it. Choose the color correctly of the room to make it a breathable and beautiful home. Your bed sitter. Second thing, look at the textures, look at the nature, look at the art. Your floor really matters, and also the furniture. So some of the things I'm supposed to highlight on that page, Msmaji, just to make sure color choices can easily transform a room from boxed in to open and airy. Lighter colors such as whites, off-whites and light gray can reflect light and expand a space visually. So some of the things ambazo umeambiwa this morning on that page, that is page 22 of People Daily, on how you can turn your small bed sitter into a breathable room. All right, that is page 22. Now let's shift our gears to page 24. Yes, now page 24 of People Daily, they're just trying to tell you on how you can prepare a power breakfast, refueling after morning workout. Kwa watu ambao wanaenda mazoezi yakina Alan, this story in our concern sana, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a power breakfast. As you can see, wame highlight things za kukula, mayai. A healthy, nutritious, and energizing morning meal is critical to kickstart your fuel your day and provide sustained energy. Mtazamaji, kama ni mtu wa workout, kuna things you're supposed to eat, meals after the workout. So just grab your copy of People Daily on Google Play Store and also App Store. Read page 24 on a power breakfast, refueling after morning workout. Kwa watu ambao wanaendanga gym ama workout asubuhi, to my fellow workouters, we call them workouters, Agina Alan and Remy. Umesikia? Mayai ni muhimu, tomato, nusu, tomato ni muhimu, and other things. Maybe to hear from Mr. Korea. Unananga gym asubuhi?
I like the
So in case maybe ni resolution, in case you join gym January 2026, make sure you have this copy of page 24.
24. Yeah.
Itakusaidia sana.
But I do morning walks though.
Or morning walks.
Yeah.
Hapo morning walks ni maji tu.
Ni maji tu. Na kurudi kukula.
Amazing. Thank you so much. But as well, just to add something on these stories, we shall be digging deep on these stories from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Amka Trend Talks.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's make some progress here. See what else is making headlines on the Daily Nation, on the front page of the Daily Nation, right? There on your screens, the biggest story, by-elections test for Ruto, Raila, and Gachagua. This is a story that can be gotten on pages 4 and 5. The stage is set for a supremacy contest pitting Kenya's political bigwigs. President Ruto and ODM chief Odinga on one side against former DP Gachagua and the united opposition on the other in upcoming mini polls for 22 electoral positions whose outcomes could trigger shifts and new alliances ahead of the 2027 general election. Also, on the flip side, at the very top, why Kenyans are paying more for fuel. Basically, what we've just touched on the People Daily. We also have Equity Haste, bank blocked from raising cost of 83 million loan for its sacked internal audit boss. An array of stories there. Ministry steps in after mystery illness claims 4 lives in Mombasa. The PS for Health, that is Mary Mudhoni, says rapid response team has been dispatched to Migadini, Mombasa, to establish the cause of these deaths. Kuria, just quickly as you're touching on this issue on the by-elections test for Ruto, Raila, and Gachagua, we're actually looking at a by-election that could alter the total face of politics in this country. And right now, DP Gachagua seems to be having a leading sort of position when it comes to these by-elections, and he could potentially win a number of them based on the mood of the country. Say this is not the case and Ruto's allies actually clinch the seats. What does it mean for the opposition?
Right now, what we're seeing in the country and what Gachagua is doing is rallying against our emotions. And that wins. That is what you see him getting numbers and you see him getting traction right now. He's speaking to what Kenyans want to hear. Remember, we are a nation that we vote according to our emotions. Yeah. So whoever wins our emotions will win our votes. And right now, President Ruto is losing on that end. He's losing on the emotions of people. He's failed to capture people. He's blaming the opposition in everything that is happening to him. And that is a win for the opposition. Actually, that is the work of the opposition. The work of the word itself says for itself, it's opposition. So what Gachagua is doing, he might win this, some of these by-elections because of the emotions of the country at the moment. And then now we've seen even the government and Ruto and even Raila losing their major support in their own backyards due to what is happening to the country right now. So it's up to the government, or not the government, right now it's up to the UDA party, or the party that is in government, to figure out how to come back and talk to people and assure them that, you know, we are here, we are working, and all that. And now, on the other hand, is what they're doing, the biggest mistake they're doing now, they're playing catch-up with the opposition. They are responding to what the opposition is saying. They are not on top of the narrative. So whoever controls the narrative right now will win this by-election. We saw Ruto do that to Uhuru, and I'm sorry to say, but Gachagua is borrowing from the same book.
Okay.
Them being on top of cars, them running from county to county, and they're charging people with the narrative that whatever is happening is not good, and people are seeing it. Now it's just pinpointing.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
Okay, then. Let's take a look at the front page of the Standard. And we have there executive lapdog for that matter. And it says right here that born out of the 2007-2008 bloodshed to curb hate-fueled violence, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission now faces accusations of selective justice as President William Ruto's allies fan ethnic tensions. The commission is seen as barking at dissenters but muting itself when power peddles hate. Observers say it's no longer just asleep at the wheel. It may be complicit. And this story is on pages 4 and 5. And it's right there on the front page of the Standard. Also right there below on the page, we have how officials swindled 2.2 billion shillings from students' healthcare scheme. And it says here, a special audit has exposed how ineligible learners benefited from the government's Edua Afya medical cover, and officials made suspect remittances amounting to 2.2 billion shillings to the defunct NHIF on page 8.
All right, let's also have a look at Taifa Leo, see what else is making headlines right there. This is Tony's forte, so I believe Tony can pick this. Is in Swahili.
Yes, wanasema kwamba katika gazeti la Taifa Leo, mtazamaji, wanasema kwamba Gachagua Ruto kupimana nguvu, mtazamaji, that is iwapo mgombeaji wa rais atashindwa itakuwa ishara ya kuridimia kwa umaarufu wake kuelekea mwaka 2027. Hiyo ndio picha iliyoko katika gazeti lako la Taifa Leo. Hapo tuko na story ya DCI Alright, tuko na DCI wateka mazishi yaliyouawa ya mwanafunzi aliyepigwa risasi na polisi wiki jana, alizikwa katika hafla iliyosimamiwa na DCI, gazeti la Taifa Leo. Lakini pia kuko na story ya mazishi bila maiti, familia ya mhudumu wa maabara aliyetoweka ghafla. That is mwezi mmoja uliopita, eneo la Kerio yaandaa mazishi ya kipekee. Lakini pia tukivuka milima na mabonde hadi katika taifa la Nigeria, ni kwamba Nigeria yamuaga aliyekuwa rais wao ambaye aliaga dunia siku kadhaa zilizopita. Rais Buhari, aliyekuwa rais wa Nigeria Muhammad Buhari, alizikwa nyumbani kwake jana. That is page 8 of Taifa Leo, just to get the context of that story. Mzamaji, that's all we had on this amazing Tunevero. Lakini pia Alan Ndoimi, before tuweze kumruhusu mgeni aondoke, itakuwa ni vizuri tukimuuliza swali la siku, atuambie take yake on the question of the day. How can IBC guarantee free and fair election in 2027?
In under 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
The IBC has a mandate to protect this country. The IBC has a mandate to govern the election of this country. And we are asking them to be very careful, because with a bad election, we will have destruction, death, and all that. So as they are citizens of this country, they have a mandate to make sure the elections are free and fair. That is the only ask we have from them, and making sure that Kenya is safe.
All right. Thank you for that. Kuria Kariuki helping us to dissect what is on our dailies right there. At this point, we want to take a short break right here in Amka Kenya. We'll be back in just a short while. Stick around.